You think you know the real story? You think you've seen every backstage glance, every subtle touch, every accidental tag on social media? Think again. Because what happened between Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio didn't just shake the locker room. It split the WWE universe straight down the middle. And in 2026, the truth is messier, hotter, and way more explosive than anyone expected. This isn't some fairy tale romance. This is betrayal. Loyalty tested, power plays, jealousy, and a relationship that may have rewritten the future of an entire faction. Let's get into it. Back in 2024 and 2025, when Dominik was still tangled in the chaos of WWE storylines, fans noticed something. A stare that lasted a second too long. A smirk from Liv that didn't feel scripted. A backstage segment that felt real. And if you really paid attention, you could see the spark before the commentators ever acknowledged it. Quick question for you. When did you first notice something was going on between them? Drop the exact moment in comments. At that time, Dominik was still emotionally linked on screen with Rhea Ripley. And let's be honest, Rhea wasn't just a partner. She was dominance personified. She controlled the room. She controlled the faction. Some would even say she controlled Dominik. But Liv Morgan? She's chaos wrapped in a smile. Where Rhea was intimidation, Liv was unpredictability. Where Rhea was brute force, Liv was psychological warfare. And in 2025, something shifted. The first major crack came during a tense episode involving the Judgment Day. Dominik hesitated. Just for a second. Liv was in the ring. Rhea was barking orders from the outside. And instead of following through, Dominik looked conflicted. That hesitation? It became the seed of everything. Do you think that hesitation was scripted or real emotion slipping through? Be honest. By mid-2025, Liv's character had evolved. She wasn't just the underdog anymore. She had edge. She had confidence. And most importantly, she had nothing to lose. Backstage footage began circulating. Training clips, shared travel snapshots, group photos where they just happened to be standing closer than necessary. Fans started dissecting everything. And Dominik? He changed. He wasn't the awkward, second-generation rookie hiding behind his father's shadow anymore. Speaking of which, the tension with Rey Mysterio added an entirely new layer to the situation. Imagine this dynamic. A son who already betrayed his legendary father. A dominant partner who built him up in her image. And now, a wild-card woman who saw something softer underneath. Liv didn't try to control him. She teased him, challenged him, laughed at him. And somehow, that made him stronger. Or weaker. Depends on how you look at it. Here's something most fans missed in late 2025. Liv stopped mocking Dominik in interviews. The sarcasm turned into respect. The playful insults became compliments disguised as jokes. Subtle. Dangerous. Intentional. And by early 2026, rumors were no longer rumors. They were sightings. Shared gym sessions posted within minutes of each other. Matching captions that seemed coincidental. A cryptic Valentine's Day tweet that sent the internet into meltdown. Let me ask you something simple. If this was just storyline, why did it feel so personal? The turning point came at the road to Wrestlemania season in 2026. Tensions inside the Judgment Day were boiling. Leadership questions. Loyalty questions. And Liv Morgan stood right in the center of it. In one explosive segment, Dominik chose to walk away from a confrontation instead of escalating it. And who was waiting for him backstage? Liv. Not yelling. Not demanding. Just listening. That moment redefined him. And at WrestleMania 42, everything changed. Liv had her biggest match of the year. Dominik was at ringside. Not as a manager. Not as a distraction. Just present. When she won, the camera caught it. The hug. The look. The way he lifted her like the world had finally tilted in her favor. Fans lost their minds. Some called it beautiful. Some called it disrespectful. Some called it the end of an era. What did you call it? I want one word in the comments. After WrestleMania, their chemistry was undeniable. On-screen promos blurred the lines between performance and reality. Liv began referencing trust. Dominik began referencing freedom. Freedom. That word kept coming up. Freedom from expectations. Freedom from manipulation. Freedom from living under someone else's shadow. Was Liv his escape? Or was she his next mistake? Behind the scenes in 2026, insiders began talking about how they trained together constantly. Liv pushed his cardio. Dominik helped her with technical counters. They weren't just a couple, they were elevating each other's game. And you could see it. Dominik's confidence skyrocketed. His promos became sharper. His in-ring psychology improved. Liv became more strategic, more grounded, less chaotic, without purpose. Love doesn't always soften you. Sometimes it sharpens you. But let's not pretend this was smooth sailing. The backlash was brutal. Fans loyal to Rhea Ripley accused Liv of being a homewrecker, kayfabe or not. Social media became a battlefield. Every post was dissected. Every like was weaponized. And here's where it gets interesting. Instead of avoiding the hate, Liv leaned into it. She posted cryptic captions like, "Sometimes you win more than championships." Dominik reposted it with a single black heart. Do you think they were trolling the fans or defending something real? By mid-2026, interviews started hinting more openly at their relationship. No full confirmations, just enough ambiguity to keep everyone guessing. And that ambiguity? It's marketing genius, but also emotionally dangerous. Because when your relationship becomes content, pressure builds. Every match becomes symbolic. Every loss feels personal. Every betrayal hits deeper. There was one moment in particular that shook everything. During a heated six-person tag match, Dominik took a brutal hit meant for Liv. Not scripted hesitation. Not choreographed confusion. It looked instinctive. Protective. He didn't think. He reacted. And she didn't celebrate the win. She checked on him. Small detail. Massive meaning. Let's flip the question to you. Would you risk your career momentum for someone you weren't serious about? The narrative in 2026 isn't just about romance. It's about identity. Dominik Mysterio is no longer just Rey's son. He's no longer just Rhea's protege. He's not just Liv's partner either. He's his own man. And Liv? She's no longer the underestimated wild card. She's a calculated, emotionally intelligent competitor who understands power dynamics inside and outside the ring. Their love story works because it isn't perfect. They argue on screen. They disagree in promos. They challenge each other publicly. And that tension fuels ratings. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. There's always a cost. Being a couple in professional wrestling history rarely ends quietly. The schedule is relentless. The travel is exhausting. The spotlight is unforgiving. The question isn't whether they love each other. The question is, can they survive the machine? In late 2026, their alliance began shifting the entire locker room structure. Other superstars had to pick sides in storyline conflicts. Faction dynamics shifted. Alliances broke. New rivalries were born. Liv and Dominik weren't just dating. They were influencing creative direction. That's power. And power creates enemies. Let's talk psychology for a second. Liv has always thrived when underestimated. Dominik has always struggled when overshadowed. Together, she believes in him. He validates her. That's a dangerous combination in an industry built on ego. There was a podcast appearance mid-2026 where Liv mentioned the word peace. She said she'd found peace in chaos. Dominik later referenced feeling, understood for the first time. Coincidence? Or coded confession? I want you to answer this honestly. Do you think their relationship made them better performers, or did it distract them? Because statistically speaking, their win percentages improved in 2026. Their crowd reactions grew louder. Their merchandise sales reportedly spiked. The business side benefited. But emotionally, that's harder to measure. There were moments, small ones, where exhaustion showed. A missed cue. A slightly tense exchange in a backstage segment. The kind of micro-expression only die-hard fans catch. And that's what makes the story so addictive. It feels human. In a world of scripted drama, their connection feels unscripted, even if it isn't. And then came the biggest twist of late 2026. A storyline angle teased a possible betrayal. Dominik was offered a singles championship opportunity, on the condition he distance himself from Liv in storyline. The crowd booed before he even responded. That reaction alone tells you everything. Fans may argue, fans may hate, but they are invested. When Dominik refused to publicly disassociate, the arena erupted. That wasn't just storyline heat. That was emotional payoff. So now we're here.